Mr. Bush out here. Can everyone hear me? I see a yes. Welcome. We're going to get started very shortly here. I'm just prepping a little bit. You can see the set of charts that I started. They are actually in the Google Drive under the weekly meetings area. And Mrs. Wood just started recording. And we will start in about 1 minute. Oops, didn't mean to change the charts there yet. Okay. Mrs. Wood, can you send Mr. Rodriguez the GoToMeeting information? He just sent me a text and he's trying to get in and he's stuck. Thank you. Okay, we have a pretty good turnout. I can see 31 people have signed in, and we're going to get started very shortly. And as Ms. Wood always says, remember this is a classroom environment, and to be appropriate with your text. We do save the chats from each of these meetings, so we can both go through and have the information with how people contributed to the class and to the environment, but also that's where obviously if you make inappropriate comments or something, it will show up. So please remember that. This Friday is the upcoming competition, so I hope you're all very excited about that. I'm excited, Mrs. Wood is excited, and so is Mr. Rodriguez. We are really looking forward to this is an actual score. It's going to be harder than the one that you saw on the practice. And so if you struggle with the practice, then that's okay. We're all learning here, especially the newbies that have been joining us. But when we, the one thing that will make you better as a Cyber Patriot and in the competitions is the practice outside of these GoToMeeting sessions, and making sure you come to the afternoon sessions or at lunch, or even better to work on this at home, to take images home and work on them. It really will help. Okay, so we're going to get started here. Okay. First of all, let's see. Let me just go to the next chart. Actually, I'm going to go up and we're going to do, as Mrs. Wood was saying in the chat session, Maya, our president, has a few announcements. So Maya, please go on audio and let us know what the rest of the Cyber Patriots need to know.
Okay, perfect. Hey guys. So I guess I'll start with this because Chris said it. If you're in band, King and I talked, and call time should be around 6. So if you did want to go to the North away game, you're more than welcome to do both Cyber Patriots and that away game. And also, if it's an issue, teams can always start a little bit before noon so that they're finished a little bit before 6. Going off of that, we also need people to donate snacks and stuff. So ask your parents and have them sign up in the Shutterfly site. And then returners, if you haven't signed up for an image, please do so. I think there's still a few of you. I think that's all my announcements. So, yeah, thank you,
Maya.
Thank you, Springfield, like Isaac said.
Yeah. And Ms. Wood, do you have anything else you want to add, or should we jump right in? Go ahead and speak up if you do.
Hi, everybody.
Caught her off guard there.
I was going to say, sorry, I was having an issue unmuting myself. Do not forget also that you need to make sure that you let your teachers know that you're going to be gone 4th, 5th, and 6th. Okay, a couple of you have let me know that that you are going to be coming in during 4th period and going back to class 5th period and then coming back to us. Just make sure that your team knows that you're doing that and you don't leave them stranded, especially if you are in charge of one of the actual images themselves, that you just don't disappear and your team loses out on that hour that you are gone. So other than that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Mr. Bush.
Thank you. And I don't know if we have Mr. Rodriguez online. I know he was having a little trouble, but hopefully he'll join us soon. But we'll go on and get started here. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is Mrs. Wood and I talked about after last week, thanks to all of you who attended and watched about learning how to do Network Academy. But we realized that the first step that you need to do really in Network Academy is go ahead and sign in. And something that you may or may not realize is that as instructors, we can see who signed in and who has spent whatever time on a particular topic. So what we wanted to do is for everybody here, and there's 33 of you, we wanted to see all 33 of you go ahead and sign in to the Network Academy for your first time, possibly. And if you do have trouble, go ahead and you put it in the chat window. And what we're going to do is we're going to see the difference between how many people who had signed in previously to now. And what we're expecting is probably a good 10 or 20 people are going to be now on to the Network Academy. And like we said, the first thing is just to go ahead and get signed in. So if you have trouble, or if you can't do it right now, that's understandable, seeing some people. But you can actually still sign in on your phone. So people are saying that they can't use your phone, but you can actually sign in. So now we're going to do too is, and this I can do. So Mrs. Wood is going to be monitoring those who sign in on Network Academy. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to switch to the Google Drive or to the Cyber Patriots site. So this is our YouTube channel. This is where we're taking and we're putting all the GoToMeetings that have been recorded thus far, and including the ones that were recorded last year. So what we need you to do is to go in and subscribe, and you can see it says there's 11 subscribers. So what we would like to see is that number 11 go up to, unless you're already subscribed, of course, but up to possibly 30 or 40 right now. So Mrs. Wood is going to check on the Net Academy, and I'm going to be watching right here. I'm going to do a little refresh here to see as people are signing in. So Mark just was asking a question about why we need to subscribe, and the point is that this is going to be where there's going to, as we post the different videos, we're going to post some very interesting and helpful information to it. So the idea is that we want to see you guys actually using this resource that we're Mr. Rodriguez, myself, and Ms. Wood are putting forward to you. That is part of being a Cyber Patriot, is participating in the GoToMeeting. So anyway, I can see already 13 subscribers, so thank you, whoever just signed in and subscribed. Let's see how many we can get to. We had 11 to begin with. 16, very good.
Mr. Bush, can I also comment on Mark's question of why we need to subscribe? If you guys notice on the Cyber Patriot YouTube channel, and maybe Mr. Bush, you can click on this so they can see this. If you click on where it says playlists, what we have started to do is we have started to create playlists of videos from other people. The one on the right-hand side is Mr. Bush's Cyber Patriot videos that we did last year, and there is a ton of information on there that you can take a look at. There's about 5 or 6 different videos that we did, specifically one about cyber security vocabulary, which is really important that I'm sure I will hit upon again and make sure you guys go back and look at that. But the first playlist that is there is another school actually doing the practice images. And it was them, their school, they recorded it, and kind of like what we're doing, creating resources for their team. And we're just going to piggyback off of them. There are 4 of them there that you can see that they used. And from there, after you see the different playlists, on the right-hand side, a bunch of other resources come up as well. So as the year goes on, we will be populating those playlists so that you guys can take a look at those as well and actually learn from them. Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Wood. So, so as we saw this, we have 16 subscribers now. 23 subscribers, very good. If you're having trouble finding it, then you can put something in the chat or chat to your neighbors. What happens is when you are subscribed, obviously I'm subscribed, when Mrs. Wood does post the video from a meeting, it actually shows up as that there's been something new that's been posted, so you can go and check it out if you weren't actively participating in the meeting. So your teammates who may have missed the meeting, they can connect to it. It's just a good way to stay on top of things. Mrs. Wood, are you able to log in to see how people are doing as far as signing into the Network Academy?
Yes, I am. And there are some. I would like to see some more, please. What I would like you to do is make sure you click on the course that is called Cyber Patriot Content. That is where the Cisco quiz is going to be from on Friday. So far I see Diane, and I see Andrew, and myself, and Ashley Yuan. So good job, you guys. Keep signing into that. And again, if you have not officially registered with US Cyber Patriot yet, then you will not have access to this NetAcad yet. So make sure you get that signed up and taken care of.
And what you're seeing right now is actually my login as one of the coaches. I get access to Network Academy also, and I have an I'm teaching and I'm learning. For most of you, I believe you're only going to see the I'm learning, but you'll see these things. And when you click on something and you do launch course, then what happens is Mrs. Wood, as the course instructor, will see your progress. She'll see that you signed in and you've gotten started. So, and just a reminder for those of you who were on last week, especially the people who are going to focus on Linux. These Linux ones are great. So they're a great asset to you and will help you in the competition. So I'm going to go back and we'll check on the how people are doing at the end. We'll see what the tally is for everybody who signed in. But let me just do a quick check on the YouTube channel. Certainly, you guys know how to sign up for YouTube, right? Okay, 29 subscribers going up. Now, I do want to point out one other thing, and we didn't mention this, but ideally, what we want to do is when you guys look at the videos that are posted here, we would like you to rate them. And I don't feel bad about doing a thumbs down or whatever. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And the idea is that as new Cyber Patriots are coming on, they're trying to figure out which videos to watch, which is the one that will give them the best insight, the best way to be a Spartan Cyber Patriot. So it's hard. You know, a lot of these videos are like 30 minutes long. So for Mrs. Wood and I to go through and watch them again and we don't have the insight to know what you guys think is useful, it's a lot better to have it come from you. So anyway, let's just encourage that. Thank you, whoever just subscribed, 30 subscribers, we're getting up there. Okay, back to the presentation for today. And let's see. One of these tabs has it. Here we go. What are we covering today? So we already covered the fact of Network Academy on YouTube, so thank you. The next thing is, and this is more for the, possibly for the newbies, but maybe a reminder for those who've been through it before. I'm going to take you through a little walkthrough of the Google Drive. So let me go back to the Google Drive here. Oops, back again. There we go. Okay, so here is the Google Drive. And I think most of you have found the top level Cyber Patriots, and you can see it says 2017, 2018 Cyber Patriots, that's you. And there's also last year where we had 2016, 2017 Cyber Patriots. So you might think that this is really the only place of interest to you. And I know many of you have been using Bill's image. We have the practice image, which we're going to actually have to delete very soon. We have only one briefing here in the GoToMeeting, and the sneak preview, which we'll also be deleting. Lots of useful information here, but I want to point you to other things that you need to look at. First of all, there's a weekly meeting, which is where both the briefings like today's meeting, which is here at the top, and previous briefings are here. So there's good information in there. It doesn't take a lot of time to get through this. And you are welcome to use this during a competition. So you can go right in, look at any of this stuff, and get some ideas. You may need those ideas. This is something Mr. Rodriguez put together last year. It's more the complex, and we'll probably get more into that later on in the year. But this is actually a vulnerability assessment of a tool that you can actually run against your home systems. Less useful possibly on a competition, but it's there. We had collected the student created images last year. We're doing that again now. That's what Maya was telling you about. Make sure to sign up for that if you want to do it. Last year also I put together this thing called the Cyber Cool Kit. What it is basically buy different operating systems. This is information about the security and technical implementation guides. Now this was done last year. I'm going to walk you through later in the briefing through the STIGs, but this stuff is right online and you can use it during the competitions to find out what things you should be looking for. So there's that. There's also these two scripts which I'm cut and pasted into today's briefing so you can see, but it's to help you find media files. That's something that you typically find in each. These templates, these are templates actually that are associated with the STIGs, and what they do is they tell you to compare a secure computer to one that's to the computer you're reviewing and tell you what needs to be changed to make it secure. And we'll cover a little bit of that today, but that is something that we'll probably need to cover in more detail later for you to fully absorb it. This link, this is kind of now defunct, but this is where we were keeping some of the old Cyber Patriot videos, and now we're putting it on the YouTube channel. So now that you've signed up for that, you'll be able to find those. Remember that during the competition, you're allowed to use any of this information. It's completely legitimate. The basics, look at what you get from, these are just some of the charts. Forensics question list, Maya, thank you for posting that. So remember that you have all this at your disposal. This Friday is a real competition, and by using this stuff, especially after the first hour or two, you're going to find out it's going to get you points on the competition. What happens, what I've seen in the last few years is people go ahead and they score a lot of points in the first few hours, and then they get stuck. And that's where all this extra information really helps you push to the farther ahead. Okay, so that's the Google Drive. If you didn't already know about it, then now you do. Going back to, please, Ms. Wood or Maya or anybody out there, if you want to add anything to that, please do while I'm getting ready for the next topic. I do want to point out something which is I forgot to mention. We do need help organizing the Google Drive. It's over time, it's like a village that's been built up really quickly. It needs to be put into a more useful format. So as you're going through and you're finding stuff, you know, we'll be looking to the leads of each of your groups to see how we might change how things are organized. And one thing I want to point out is something that Mr. Rodriguez, and I'm not sure if he joined us yet. I'm just looking here to see. Okay. Mr. Rodriguez has put together a wiki page. And does anybody know what I mean by a wiki page? Please jump in into the chat. Nobody's jumping in? Nobody knows what a wiki is? All right, you're going to force me to pick on somebody. Okay, Catherine, you're a senior, right? Can you tell us what a wiki page is? Okay, Abraham kind of jumped in to help you in the chat window. Are you there? Are you watching the baseball game? Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Wood. I appreciate that. It is, okay. So Simon just pointed out that it's an online encyclopedia, and it is, right? We all probably Googled something and gotten a Wikipedia page, right? Well, the whole concept of Wikipedia was that actually, as a user of Wikipedia, you could also edit it. So the whole idea is that you find something interesting, this is the real Wikipedia, you can go ahead and make an edit to correct or inform something. So this is a Wikipedia page that Mr. Rodriguez put together, and it's right now it's private. It's only usable by our cyber patriots. We don't want our competitors using it against us, but there's a page called Checklist and Ubuntu Checklist. So this page right now includes some ideas about what you might do during a competition. And he's got some blanks in here. He's filling in some things. The idea is that as we grow as a team, we will be able to make edits to this and add information. And Brenda just asked, do we have access to that? We will make sure you have access. And Mr. Rodriguez will probably be sending out, it'll be a shared user account, but that you can log into. But you can go and then do an edit. Now, do you see how this screen, it says edit and it says wiki text, and when you want to edit something, you can put in something that you want. And I'm just going to do a quick edit so you can see. And it says, be sure to look at the forensics questions first. This actually works exactly how Wikipedia does. Anybody can edit, and I'll just say more info on forensics and click publish. So I just made an update, right? Now, you can look at the history. You can see who made the updates and what were the contributions. But this version, our Wikipedia, our wiki for Cyber Patriots, is just for us because you need to log in. But the Wikipedia that you see online, you can go and actually make an edit yourself. So if you look up the city of Torrance, you probably can look up Torrance High School. You can go and make an edit to whatever it says about Torrance High School, South Torrance. So that's an example of Wikipedia. But we're going to have this as a resource for you guys, and we're going to want you guys to continue to collaborate and improve upon it. So thank you, Catherine, for being my victim since you did respond. Yeah, before the competition, we're going to make sure that you'll have access to this. All right, so I have another question, and I'm going to pick on somebody again. All right, Justice Thompson, I want to ask you a question. Earlier on in the meeting today, Mrs. Wood and I were having people sign up for something. What were we having them sign up for? Is Justice there? Is he actually paying attention? This is why you have to pay attention, people. Now, you may have come on late. Anyone want to help Justice? Metacad? YouTube. Yeah, it was Network Academy and YouTube. So I'm going to look right now and see how many people signed up for YouTube, because now we have like 46 out of 51 people online, and I haven't seen that needle move. We have 30 subscribers still, 32. All right, so folks, if you signed on a little bit late and you missed the earlier part, shame on you, but you still have time. Please, we need you to sign up for the YouTube channel and also to sign in for Network Academy. Thank you, Nathan. Good job. And also thank you, Justice, for participating. Maybe you knew the answer, but if you didn't, you weren't paying attention. So let's see, and I'm going to cover now the last topic. And my group, my Tuesday morning group, I apologize because I'm going to be repeating something that we did for that. So feel free to tune out mentally if that is what you want to do. Oh, well, first, actually, let me share this. A bonus. So I remember folks during the competition, during the practice competition, wanting to find a command to find those darn media files. Well, here it is right inside the briefing package, which is available to you during the competition. And let's talk about what this all means. First of all, I'm going to pick on somebody again. We'll pick on Diane. What is, in the beginning of this thing, there's a sudo. What does sudo do? Obviously, even if you don't know what this command is, you can get to a command window and you can type this in. It will give you some sort of result. But I'm hoping Diane can help us understand what this first part of the command is for. Diane, you there? I don't see anything in the chat window. Lights on, nobody home. Ms. Wood, will you pick another victim? Oh, wait, sorry, I'm sorry. My scroll was wrong. I apologize. it is about security privileges. Yes, Diane. Anyone want to help her? Ms. Wood, you want to pick on somebody? I don't hear any audio. Maybe she's lost us a moment.
I'm here. I just wasn't trying to overtalk you. Melina, you want to help her out since you're typing? I was commenting.
Yes. Good answer, Melina. It gives you the power of the super user. The normal users have limited powers, and that's intentional because the computers that have super user power or administrator privileges can do a lot of damage to a computer system, and a lot of the cyber hackers exploit that. So having good type permissions and having your permission set between administrators and regular users is important. But sometimes you need to do something as a super user, and that's what the sudo command does. All right, and I'm not going to go into the whole command, but I'll just give you the general gist. It's the find command. Some people were also using the locate command, which also will work. Slash here means at the top of the directory hierarchy for Unix, for Linux. Type means type, give me a file. Print 0 means basically show me everything that's in there, all the files in there. Then this is basically saying, actually I think I got that slightly wrong, but basically it's saying look for the types that match this MIME type, and then you can see over here it's talking about audio and video types. So it's finding all the files that are audio and video. Now you're going to find some, and thank you, those folks that are typing into the chat window, that's right. When you're at the slash is the root directory, and when you see the pound sign, that is like the, indicates that you are logged in as root. But so you can use this command and it'll find all the audio and video files. For Windows, it's a similar kind of command. It's a dir, which is directory, and you can do a help on this if you need to, but finds all the .jpeg, .tiff, .png. These are all media files of one sort or another. And if you were looking for a media file for the command that was for the audiobook, it would have been one of these, I believe. What was the audiobook type? Does anybody remember? Can you type it in the side? So, by the way, there was it was not MP4. I think it was, hopefully it was one of these, because if it's not, then we're going to miss it. Anyway, the way this command works is M4V, it looks for the star dot, that means any file with a beginning name and then ending in the dot, like the last with the extension. Somebody asked a command in the terminal window that can we put this into a script and reuse it? The answer is yes. In fact, there was, if you look through the directory on the Google Drive, I created some scripts they could use. But what I was finding was that when people actually tried to download those files and use them, they were having trouble. So rather than having them be embedded in a script, I put the commands right here for you. All right, now.
Bush, I'll be, this is Jeff. I will be including some more of that stuff in the wiki for the information, so that all of you go ahead and look forward to being able to identify some of those scripts and tips for doing the Ubuntu training.
Yeah, and that's Mr. Rodriguez, in case any of you guys missed it. he's going to go ahead and add to that wiki, and we'll get the information out to you about how to access the wiki before the competition, so you can be able to get to it. Now, the last thing we were going to cover, and I know I'm going a little bit long, but so I'm going to go a little bit fast here, and I apologize for that, is the Security Technical Implementation Guide. That's this here. I know many of you have heard this before, and I apologize for repeating it, but the Defense Information Systems Agency, this is a government agency from the United States, publishes online in this site what they call STIGs, and they're guides to securing computer systems. So if you, during the competitions, you're allowed to access this site, you can go and first thing that you would need to do is get the STIG viewer. The STIG viewer is basically a program. It's written in Java, so it can run on both Linux and Windows, and you can download it. So I've just clicked on it and downloaded it. There's a zip file here, so I'm within the compressed file. I need to get this out of here and put it somewhere where I can use it. So I'm going to put it on my desktop. So I'm going to run the STIG viewer. Now, this STIG viewer, it's not very useful because I have no STIGs to view. But for those of you who participated in our morning meeting, you know what we did next was download the latest guides. So I'm going to go to the STIGs and find the latest guides. So here you can see there's a compilation. These are zip files, and FOUO is a government term. It stands for official use only, right here. We're not going to get those because it requires special government credentials to be able to download. We'll just download the non-FOUO ones. I'm going to download those. And it's pretty quick download because it's zip file. It's been compressed. So there's 18 seconds left. Then what I can do with my STIG viewer is I can load this up, and then I can have basically a look at the possible vulnerabilities throughout all of the different systems that are covered by the guidance, the technical implementation guide. So it's down here in my downloads folder. I'm going to do File, Import STIG. Now, one thing I had to point out to the class when I was doing it was you have STIG XML or zip files. That's good. I'm going to go to my downloads folder and find the latest STIGs. There's the STIG library, and I'm just going to open that. Oops, didn't work. Well, I don't know, it seems like it's going, but that's why they always tell you to try it first before you. There's a lot of STIGs, so I'm just clicking OK. Now, anybody who was part of my the morning group that was in for zero period on Tuesday, can anyone comment on the STIGs over there in the chat window? Thank you, Maya. They're super helpful. So the idea is that like these are guides that are given to people in the government who are trying to go through and secure things. So you can see on this list on here on the left, these are the different STIGs that I implemented or that I imported. So, you know, there's actually a STIG against Adobe Acrobat, for example. So if the software if the operating system you have has Adobe Acrobat Pro installed, you want to make sure to look at these vulnerabilities. They give you a vulnerability ID and a rule name. But let's look at something more practical. Mrs. Wood, can you remind me of what Windows operating system we are going to be looking at for this Friday's competition?
For this competition, they're doing Windows 7 and Ubuntu 14.
Okay, so here is a Windows 7 STIG guide. All right, so there's a vulnerability ID, and you can see the description here about what the vulnerabilities are. So the first one is a little bit not relevant. It says physical security. It means you need to make sure you don't have physical access to computers. Well, that doesn't really apply because we are talking about virtual machines. Let me go look at these in the filter here and select categories. Now, Cat 1, Cat 2, and Cat 3. Can anyone give me a guess of what they think is worse, a Cat 1 or a Cat 3? First one to jump out, just some guesses. Brandon, thanks for being first, but you got it wrong. It was Cat 1 is the worst, Cat 3 is the least bad. So what you can do is put on a filter and say add, and say, okay, now I'm just going to look at only the Cat 1 vulnerabilities. And so here's an example, and I'll just try and users with administrative privileges. And this is one that we all are fixing in all of the competitions. All right, make sure that you have that, users with administrative privileges must be documented as separate accounts and normal administrative duties and normal operational tasks. So this is basically saying, hey, separate the people with that are admins versus the non-admins. Very straightforward. Here's one, password requirement. Make sure that you have a password. So pretty much almost everything here, like if you check that, wait, one account didn't have a password, we need to fix that. Now remember that during the competition, the account that you log into, they always tell you doesn't need to have a password, but this is an example of other accounts or passwords are weak. Default auto run behavior. All of these things are potential things that are in the competition. Now, I would not suggest you start with these, but once you're stuck, this is like a party. You can just go in here and try any of these things and possibly get some points. So does anyone else want to add that have used the STIGs in the past? If you have any comments about their usefulness. Thank you earlier, Maya, for your comments. Brennan just asked, should we bring up pull that up? I would say that's very useful. If you go ahead and get the STIG viewer, get the latest STIGs, that should be one of the tools in your toolbox. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Wood, thank you for bringing that up. All right. And remember, this video will probably be online, so if you forget. So first of all, of course, is finding the right website. So I will actually cut and paste this right in here. I copy this right into our meeting notes. This should be a new slide. Okay, first is this is the site where you so this would be the place where you can find the STIG viewer. Now you can see the STIG viewer right here. There's a guide. That's not what you want, although you can use it. There's the STIG viewer hashes. This is to make sure that nobody is trying to trick you, giving you a fake version of the STIG viewer, but this is the one, STIG viewer version 2.6 what you want. You don't need, but this is useful. If you want to make a document out of it, you can get these style sheets. But then the other one is here. This is the STIG compilation. And these are updated all the time as more vulnerabilities are found. I'm going to paste that also into the GoToMeeting information. All right, so download STIG viewer. And then, the other thing, just to remind you, is that when you import the STIGs, you need to import like the zip file. Mr. Rodriguez, is there anything you want to add to this? Because you've had some experience with STIGs in the real world. Is there anything you want to share with us?
Well, other than STIGs basically are your principal, your initial cut at doing all your system hardening. So you should always pay attention to what the STIGs have, because the STIGs are what are gonna guide you to your first cut at doing any hardening. Now, mind you, not all of the things that the STIGs will specify are going to be able to. You're not necessarily going to be able to do all of those things, because in the end, the security is always a balance between completely securing the machine and allowing the machine to function in the capacity you need it to function. So that's kind of where, as a security professional, you need to be able to draw that line and understand. Sometimes the things that the STIGs will tell you to do will harden the system to a point where you won't be able to run the software you're trying to run. So
right, and just to add to that, that's a little bit why when I brought up the STIG viewer, I focused on the Cat 1. Those are the most dangerous vulnerabilities, and they're also typically things that when you eliminate, they don't prevent your system from being able to run. Now, that's why I suggest also that when you are going through these, this is more after you've done what we call the low-hanging fruit during the competitions, and then you focus on the STIGs later. That's all I wanted to cover. Mrs. Wood, is there anything else you want me to do?
No, I think this is awesome. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, and let's see. Isaac was saying, like, how do I download it again? All right, so I'm going to ask again. And Elisa, if you're asking a question, can you ask that also to Ms. Wood? Thank you. Let me show you again how to download. I'll just go ahead and do it so you see it. So first I'll click on this link, which is now in the briefing. And that takes us here. Click on the STIG viewer. It's just a link that you download. It's a zip file. So it's in your it's in my downloads folder. You have to extract it from the zip file. So you can do extract all if you want. So there's the STIG viewer there. Then really, wherever you put that is where you can run it. And you just double click it to run it. And then be sure then, before it's useful, of course, you have to import the STIGs. And just to show you that again, like this one is already showing they're imported, but you do File, Import STIG. And then you just need to find the file, the other one that you imported. So, I'm sorry, that you downloaded. And of course, if you can't remember, you can go back and watch the video after we post it. So, anything else, Ms. Wood, that we need to cover?
No, but the Dodgers need some help and some cheering. So go watch the Dodger game, guys. They're losing 5-0.
All right. Thanks, everybody.